Welcome back. So far, my alleged snail run to 1400 is less like a snail making slow progress and more like me trying to hold on to a sloped icy roof and sliding off very slowly and dangerously. But I am going to try again. There's something that I've got to correct, and so far it seems to be one of two things. One is not seeing tactical sequences, and the other is just plain flat blunders of hanging things, which are elementary mistakes. I'm going to play another rapid game on chess.com right now, and hopefully I can correct those problems. Another thing that I'm trying is I'm playing at different times of day. I used to play my rapid games at around 10 at night, every night on my tablet, but I couldn't record those because other people in my house are sleeping at that time, so I've played the last few games in the afternoon. That might have affected not only the way that I think, but the kinds of opponents that I'm getting. And this time I'm playing in the morning. So we're going to see how that goes. I have been paired. Let's go. Okay, we're going to get a Caro-Kann defense and see how my opponent responds. Usually they play d4 or knight to f3. I think knight to f3 is better for black, but I'm just not 100% certain. Okay, when they attack that, I think I can go ahead and get my light squared bishop out and then get this knight here. Okay, now that we can just trade off, and then I can get my dark squared bishop out as well as this, and then I can go ahead and plan to castle at this point. Okay, I am not sure what that's aiming for. Is that to prevent my queen from coming here? I'm not sure. Or do they want to trade off the dark squared bishops too? I'm not sure that I want to trade off the dark squared bishops just yet. I'm going to put my queen over here, and then I will try to get my rook over to this open file. I'm not really concerned about aiming for that pawn. It's fairly easy to defend. Usually they move it at that point. I think we can go here. No, let's just go here, and then we'll get this dark squared bishop out this way. I mean, the knight out this way. And then I should be able to castle at this point. I think everything is going well. I don't see anything that's obviously hanging. Okay, they're pushing pawns coming after my queen. I can go after their queen right now. I can always move my queen too if I want to. Let's go ahead and castle because I can get my queen out of there, I'm pretty sure. All right. Well, for one thing, I can put it there, but it again depends on what my opponent does. I am a little wary of getting my queen trapped. For example, I know it can't come back here or there or here and so on. Okay, they have moved their rook to a semi-open file. I'm going to move my rook to a fully open file. Actually, no, it's semi-open as well. We only have two semi-open files. Maybe I should have put the bishop there to begin with, but I was afraid they were just going to move that a-pawn to threaten it immediately, and then I would have to start trading right then. But maybe that would have worked out okay for me. That pawn is only defended by two pieces, whereas I'm attacking it with two. So if I had put the bishop there, traded for the knight, oh no, their queen still would have been defending that pawn. So never mind. But now it won't be, because the rook's back here once I move the knight. Okay, they've moved the knight. Oh, now they have an extra defender on that pawn. It's almost as if they were listening to me. Well, that's one reason I don't play live, because it would be too easy to listen. But now I can put this here and threaten that rook, which can only move sideways. I think that's okay for me. Oh no, they'll just push the pawn up, won't they? Wait, now this square's not defended. Should I try to go in there? Let's go in there. That's aiming at that square. I guess they can move that knight and then push a pawn, but that's two steps to get to this knight, which can always just retreat. It's probably not a permanent place for it, but again, from here where it is right now, it's temporarily safe, and it is protecting that square in case I eventually get my bishop down there, which I am thinking about, unless they do that. Let's see, that's coming for this, and I would take. I think I can go ahead and put my bishop there, can't I? And when they take, I'll take. I'm aiming at the rook, so I think they have to do something about that. They take here, I'll take that rook. And then when they take back my bishop, I would take here. Oh, they've gone forward to attack my queen. Okay, that's not bad, is it? Well, I can retract my queen, but then it won't be protecting that bishop anymore. Or I could put it here. And then they move the rook, and then where does my queen go from there? Can they attack my queen from there? They actually cannot, at least not now. I guess that at that point they could move their bishop back, couldn't they? I mean, I could take that now, but then they just have an... Yeah, that's not good. Okay, let's pull the queen back to here and then see what they do about that rook. If they pull the bishop back, I will take it. If they put a knight back, then it looks like my bishop's just trapped up there. But I can always protect it here with a pawn. See what they do. Probably because of all my talking, I'm a little behind on time, but not a lot. We're both just over 7 minutes left. I am recording. Okay, they did move the rook instead of pulling the bishop back. Very interesting. Now, should I make a move to protect this bishop? I think I should. I'm going to do that. They're probably going to try to slip this in here, aren't they? I just realized. And then I'm going to have to move my rook. Yeah, they have a little farther forward outpost square than I do. I don't know if they're looking at that square or not, but that might be what I would do. No, I have the, okay. Yeah, I have the knight there. Okay, they went back. I'm going to trade off the bishops here. See which one they took with the knight. Should we trade off the knights as well? Or should I leave my knight here? If they take me, that's going to damage my pawn structure. So I'm going to take them, and then I can get my knight here, maybe. That's a good outpost square for the knight, I believe. It threatens the queen temporarily, which obviously has lots of spaces it can run to over here, as well as back there. Don't know which one they will pick. I assume it will be one of those. I mean, could come in here, but I don't know if that's what they want. Would be threatening this pawn. That would be temporarily safe square for them, I guess. I would have to protect my b pawn at that point. So it remains to be seen. Okay, they chose to go that way, which is kind of what I thought they would do, but I wasn't sure. Maybe there, trying to get a passed pawn. That's possible. I can threaten that pawn here and see if it takes, and if it does take, I can go here and then have a completely open file for my rook. And if it pushes forward, then I can get it with the knight. Let's do that. I assume they'll take, and then I'll go here. But I'm not sure what their plan is here. It looks like their plan so far has been reacting to what I'm doing, and I don't know if I'm doing the best things for them to react to. But we are so far even on material. Okay, they did take. I'm going to take here and see where they put their stuff. For example, they might move a rook over to this open file, in which case I think I should take it. They also might be thinking about trying to get a rook over here somehow, but right now they can't because my knight's guarding that square. That's a good reason to have this knight here. So they can't lift this rook over to aim toward my king, at least not yet. They could bring this over to try to lift it around this way, I suppose. But I do know if they put it here trying to trade off, I'm going to end up winning. No, I'm not going to end up winning that pawn because the rook is guarding that pawn. Okay, they've doubled up on that pawn. I think I should play just carefully here. For example, maybe move a rook up and try to double here on the open file because I have an advantage that they don't have, and that is the fact that I have an open file. But I don't know if that's best because then if I have to move my queen, then that's unguarded from their queen. Or maybe if I should come up one more. I think that's what I should do. And then I can work on bringing this over here. Okay, and now I am a little ahead, 40 seconds or so of my opponent on time. I don't feel like I've made a major blunder yet. We're at move 22, so that's a little better than my last games. If you've made it this far in the video, I do appreciate it. Hopefully you're learning something. I'm trying to talk out my thought process while I'm thinking it, which doesn't always work because the brain and the mouth don't work at the exact same speeds. At least mine don't. Okay, we've never played each other before. That's what I was checking for. And it says they've been on chess.com a lot longer than I have. I don't know how frequently they play, but at this point they are letting some time run down. Probably figuring something out. Okay, they figured out they're trying to, I assume, go here to attack that. We don't want that to happen, do we? But I think if they do that, can't I just pull this? No, because then they can go in there. Should I do that first? No, because I couldn't take because my king is pinned. What about this? That doesn't do anything. Yes, it does. That defends that square with the rook. And then if they move the knight over there, I can push the other pawn forward. And this pawn is still defended twice. I think that's what I need to do. But I could be way off. That pawn is well defended. And my knight can't move anywhere right now except back here. I mean, I could play this and try to trade off that, but then they still have this whole thing going on over here. So I am going to play f6. And hopefully that doesn't weaken my king situation too much. Because again, this is defended twice on e6. This is defended twice. And if they try to sneak in here like I was talking about, then I can, I think, throw that forward without worrying too much about what they can do. I think all my infiltration points are covered. Also here, maybe I can drop my queen back to help aim over here. That's another possibility. Or the rook for that matter. The rook could always drop back to help guard g7. And my opponent is rated just a handful of points higher than me, but lower than I was rated several days ago. Okay, they're going to throw some pawns down here. I am going to do this to help guard here. Ooh, maybe I should have gone there. That's probably what I should have done, is gone to c7 to pin that knight. Okay, they're going to come this way. I think I'm going to go here, so when they move forward, I can move forward. And then I can always go there, should I need to. Also, the rook is protected backward right now. And I think I will go there once they move that pawn. Yeah. And since I had that prepared, I think that saved me a little bit of time. But I don't like that my queen is doing so much duty here. Okay, they've come after this. I have that twice protected, but I can protect it again here. Sorry, here. I go there and I go there. Yeah, that's good for me, I think. But if I go here, that will allow my queen to drop back to aim at that pawn. Maybe that's good. Oh, wow. Okay, they're just going to throw all that in there, in the kitchen sink too, maybe. If I pull this back here, that drops a defender from that pawn. If I push it forward, that adds a defender, but removes this one. And this one. Okay, so maybe I should leave that pawn where it is. Can't do anything about that right now, but I can throw this forward and see where the knight goes. Let's see, if I throw that forward, the knight goes here. I'll take, they'll take, I'll take, and then they'll take, and I think I will come out ahead there. So then I think the knight will go back, but I'm not sure where. There? Where we'll trade knights? We're about to find out, aren't we? Time is running down, so I'm not going to have time to overcalculate any of these moves. That's one downside of the 10-minute game. Okay, they are going to go there, and we're going to trade off our knights. I'm prepared to trade off the knights, but they have an extra pawn over here, which is not really awesome. However, I can go here, threatening that rook, and see what they do. Oh no, that leaves this rook undefended. Okay, let's trade off the knights. I can prepare to do this if I need to, and I'm still defending that. They are aiming in here now, but I'm guarding that square twice. Okay, I think I need to double up on the open file at this point. I know that takes a defender off of this, but it is still defended twice. Okay, I'm not sure what that aims to do. I kind of want to go here, but then that takes a defender off of this pawn. Okay, now I want to go here, maybe. Oh, you know what? They've just, no, they've added an attacker to that. Well, then do I put my defender back on it? I guess I do. And then they advance this pawn, and I have to take, and then they have a passed pawn over here. That's what I think I would do if I were them right now. But no, then I would have a passed pawn too. Oh, they advanced that pawn. Can I go here? Too bad I can't get to there. That would be a check. I guess I have to take it, right? Also, I'm down to a minute. I'm going to have to move fast. I'm going to have to get out of check here in just a second. I assume that's what they're about to do, is check me and then retake that pawn, yeah. Although I can block that check with this. No, let's just move out of check. I don't think they want to go there. Okay, they're going to do that. But that took a defender off of this temporarily. I did that. Okay, yeah, I'm under a minute now. I can maybe... Okay, they've checked again, so I'm going to go back. They've done that. Don't want to pin things here. Maybe go back there and then double. I don't know. Have to go here then, don't I? Okay. Oh, they're going to put a rook right there. Nice. Oh, they put the queen there. I think that was a mistake. Okay, they've got that passed pawn, but ooh, what do I have? I've got to move. Here, I guess. Okay. And that was nice. How about this? And then they're going to check me again, I assume. Oh, they're going to do that. Well, then I'm going to do this. Okay. Okay. I've got to chase that pawn now. But they can't protect it, so they're going to have to go over after my pawns. And they can't get to that one. So maybe we can draw this, but I only have 12 seconds left, and my opponent has more than that. Okay, I'm going to have to draw this, looks like. Oh, now they can get my other pawn. Can I get back in front of it? I know what I would do if I were them. Oh, they didn't do it. Okay. I ran out of time. Well, it was completely drawn, as you can see by the analysis up at the top. As it is, I lost 8 points. Had I drawn, I would have gotten 0 points. So now I'm under 1,300, and it was because of time. Okay, well, let's run the game review and see how many chances I missed during this game. Well, the game review says I had a giant bundle of mistakes, 9 of them. I had 4 misses and 1 blunder. So I don't have time, I don't think, to go through all of those, but I'm going to try to hit some high points. Right here, there was a huge blunder on my opponent's part. Right there turned out to be a big blunder, and I should have played knight to b4 then, but I did not. I played knight to e4 at that time. I don't know why I should have played knight to b4. What would the... It says they would have played a5 then. I would have taken their queen, and they would have taken my queen, and then I would have taken their rook? Why wouldn't they have just moved their queen? Sorry. Yeah, why wouldn't they have just dropped their queen someplace? It says their best move is a5, but yeah, why wouldn't they have just played queen to d1, which is their second best move? Because then what would I have had? Oh, I would have forked their rooks, and they would have had to bring this rook over would be their best move, or here even, either one of those, or queen to d3. Okay, well, it says this is their best move, and then I would take the other one, okay, and then I assume they would take back with either the knight or the queen. It says the knight is slightly better, okay, and then I would do that to trade off the bishops because I'm up in exchange. Well, that's what I should have done there, but I didn't. I played the wrong move, so the opponent gave me a -4 advantage, and I didn't take advantage of it. But I still had a very mild advantage all the way up to about here when I played that. That was a mistake. I should have just moved the king over one, or played queen to c7. Oh, I thought about that, but I think I thought about that a move later. A move or two later, I thought about putting the queen over here to kind of pin that knight. See, what would they have done? Oh, it says they would have put the knight back had I moved the queen there, and then I would have taken, and they would have taken with the knight. So that would have been okay, or even queen to b8, queen to b8 for the same reason. But instead, I played this pawn, which was a mistake. Okay, and that took away what little advantage I had, and then my opponent had the advantage up until about a very slight advantage. So we're very close to even, very close to even, very close to even, and then that was a huge mistake. That says it was a mistake, but that's a blunder. Look, it took us from plus 0.4 to plus 5. That's a blunder by any stretch of the imagination. I definitely should have played queen to d7, or queen to c7. Okay, because that would have pinned the knight, I guess. Or king to f8. Oh, to try to get the king out this way, maybe? But queen to d7 is favored strongly. But my opponent didn't take advantage of that mistake, apparently. What they should have done was take here. But instead, they moved back to threaten my knight. And I shouldn't have taken it. Wow. Was it down here? Is that what I should have done? Oh, remember, I thought about that. And it says they wouldn't have taken. If I had played knight to c2, they wouldn't have taken? Oh, no, because then I would have gone up in exchange. Okay, so they just would have moved this rook. Oh, no, now it says they would have taken. Okay, but why wouldn't they have done this? Because then I would have I would have gotten this pawn, which would have given me this passed pawn right in the middle of the board. I get that now. See, I thought about that, but I didn't think it all the way through. That's why that's a blunder, I guess, because it allows this for some reason. I don't know why it allows it. It says that they should have taken this and started breaking that open is what they should have done at that point because they had two rooks back there. If I had gone here, they would have either had to take it and go down the exchange or give up this pawn. That was the problem there. But wait, let me see. I'd gone here and they didn't take, which would go down the exchange, but instead they played here. It says I would play there. Oh, because, okay, they wouldn't take my other rook because I'm threatening their rook down here. And I've already gotten rid of this pawn. So it says they would just put this rook back. So they go down the exchange either way. Wait, they wouldn't move this over? Oh, but, well, because I would take it there with my knight too. So what about here? Now what do I do? Oh, now I would take that one. And I went up the pawn here and got myself a passed pawn. Okay, I definitely understand why I should have played knight to c2 now. But back here to where we were, that was the blunder, and that was a miss because I should have gone down there. And of course, they took back, which was best. That was a mistake. Now, that was a blunder. From +1-3 to +4 is a blunder, not a mistake. I should have played queen to a7, or queen to b7, or queen to c7. Any of those squares would have been better than lining up these rooks here. I don't get that at all. And it says they would have done a different thing depending on which I did. If I had played queen to a7 or c7, they would have played g3. I don't understand that, but if I had played queen to b7, then they would have played rook to c2. Oh no, rook to c2 here. Okay. And I would have taken, and I assume they would have taken back if I had put the queen here. But if I'd put the queen on one of those other two squares, they would have played the g-pawn. That I do not understand, and I don't have time here or energy to go through and try to figure that out. But I made this mistake. I'm guessing my opponent didn't capitalize on it. They did not. What should they have done? What should they have done here? They should have played queen to b5. Oh, that's why I should have played here or here, to protect that pawn. See, now I understand. Sometimes you have to go a move ahead to understand. Okay, but my opponent did not take advantage of that. And we went on here. I gave the opponent back the advantage, and they kept it for a little while. But then they gave it back to me. Here. Yeah, see, I thought they were going to put their rook there. Does the analysis say they should have put their rook there? No. No. The analysis says they should have gotten their queen out. I thought they were going to put their rook here, and that would have won my queen. Oh, but then I would have won their queen. Okay. That's why they put their queen there. But they should have gotten their queen all the way out at this point. But instead they went there, taking us back to even. I took, which was great. They took back with the rook. That was great. Okay. Great. That was a mistake. Should I have taken the rook? Oh, I guess I could have taken the rook and then brought my rook down to guard against the pawn. Yeah, I should have just taken. And then they would have taken back, and then I would have brought my rook back to c8. But instead I moved here, which was a mistake because, of course, they can move the pawn or this. They chose g6 is better for some reason. I think because it pins this, maybe. Or it puts a second attacker on this pawn and pins it and protects this pawn. But instead they moved the pawn forward, which had me scared because I knew they were going to do this as soon as they could. Rook c7 is a blunder, my next move. Well, here I had 30 seconds left, and playing with no increment, I was just in a hurry. I thought once they took that and I took this that I could then take this pawn. And apparently I was incorrect about that. But what should I have done instead? I should have played rook to d2 here. Oh, going after that pawn. They still would have had an advantage though. And it says they would play rook g6 after that and give me this pawn. Oh, because they would have 2 rooks on that pawn again. But instead I blundered. It was not in their best interest to take. Really. It was a miss for them to take, and I see why. Because right now my king's the only defender of that rook. They should have taken this pawn when I took back, then they would have gotten this rook here with the pawn. But instead they just took the rook, which gave me that. But that gave up that pawn anyway. So I don't understand the difference. I guess the only difference is that my king would be here and they would have a rook here. That's the only difference. Oh, that rook there would be defending that pawn. But instead they went that way so I can take their pawn, which was another great move. And we're close to even. That was an inaccuracy. That was a mistake. Really. I should have played rook to h4. Oh, aiming for that pawn. So when they took that one, I would come across and get this one and thus be protecting my d pawn, which is my passed pawn. Alternatively, I couldn't have gone this way to protect my pawn because it's not passed yet. Okay, so I do see why h4 is the best. h5 is not as good. It protects this pawn, but it leaves that one in place, and what am I going to do about that? I do get rook to h4, but instead I did this, which was the mistake. They took there, which I assume is fine. I came in. That was a mistake. Should they have just launched that pawn? That's their third best move. Wait, that's their second best move, and it was a mistake. But what they should have done is rook to f6 check, but I would have gone here, and then they would have gone over there and targeted my a pawn. I do see why rook f6 check is better, because I have to get out of the way. I can't block. But I mean, the reason I went there was so I could come for it. But yeah, I didn't see that they could come over here and get that pawn. Okay. So that was a mistake for that reason. That was a mistake as well. I don't know why. I was trying to keep their king from coming any closer. It looked like their king was trying to come closer. But they threw the pawn forward. I'm supposed to play rook to e4. Oh, I guess aiming at both of those pawns. But they would have done the thing where they checked me, and when I got out of the way, they would have gotten behind the a pawn, where they have connected passed pawns over there. But I did that. That's a mistake. That does not give back any advantage. So they had the advantage here for +5. Oh, about +5. That's an inaccuracy, so it's +6. +52. Wait. Oh, yeah, no, it's not +6. It's +52. So that's not an inaccuracy. That's a blunder. Right, from +3 to +52, that's a blunder. Okay, yeah. Oh, now it's +8. Well, it'll figure it out in a second. +11, +52. There it is. They went there. I have to take it basically +52 if they take back, which we assume that they will, and they did. I have to go toward it. I did. They need to play b4 now, but I have 14 seconds left. They have more than twice as many seconds as I do. That was a mistake because it allows me to take this pawn, and they can't come toward this pawn, because my king cuts off all those squares and my pawn hits that one. I knew that at the time. I thought maybe we were starting to be drawn at this point. So they did drop back. I came this way, but no, we're nowhere close to drawn at this point. We're coming across. Oh, that was a mistake. I didn't have a lot of choices. Wait, it says I should have gone this way? Oh, because when they can't get around there with their king to get that pawn. But still, wouldn't they have played this? Yeah, if I had played king to f5, which it says is my best move, they would have played that. But instead I played here, which is a mistake, which leaves the evaluation at the same. They came this way, knowing that they can't come down, but they're aiming to protect this pawn push. I played my best move, which is to get closer, because I know I'm going to have to block this pawn. They did that, and I took, and they took. That's my best move. It says it doesn't matter if I go back or get in front of it. It's still +54. Well, I got in front of it, because I know now they have to go for that pawn. And if they go for that pawn, I'm going to get this one. Well, they did go for that pawn, and I did get this one, and they got that one. Now it's mate in 20. How did I get this to a drawn position? I'll tell you why. I remember exactly why. When their king was here, they should have left it there and started bringing that pawn. They made a mistake because they hadn't studied endgames and they were short on time as well. But when I came here and they went there, I can't stop their pawn now. I came here. I think what they should have done is start advancing this pawn. And it says that that's true, or it says king to e7 would also work. But if they advance this pawn, I can get in front of it, but then they can get in front of it and force me out one side or the other. Remember, if we go back and look at some of my older videos with the king and pawn endgames, we've studied this exact position or very similar position, although I was playing the offense at that time. When they brought that pawn, I got in front of it. Right here, they should have gotten here because the reason is that would have forced me to one of these two squares because their king would have been covering all of those. And if I had moved to e8 or c8, whichever one I moved to, they would go to the other one and protect the pawn the whole way down, and I couldn't do a thing about it. But instead, they pushed the pawn. I know that's a draw. When that happens, get in front of the king. I do that. If they push the pawn forward, get in front of the pawn. But they didn't. They went back. So now it doesn't matter which one I do. I can go to either one of these squares, which I did. If they push the pawn, I take it. But instead, they brought the king. So get in front of the king again. That's what I did. They went back. You get in front of the pawn again. Again, it doesn't matter which of those two squares you go to. But I don't have an increment. All they have to do is shuffle, and then I shuffle, and they went on time. And that's what happened. They just shuffled. I went toward the pawn, but they came back, and I went back, and that's where I ran out of time. If I'd had more time, I would have drawn this because my opponent made a mistake in the end game. And I don't know if that was due to time pressure or them not knowing how to win this when they had the chance. They don't have a chance now, except me running out of time. I'm pretty happy with the end game. I'm not very happy with the rest of it, but hopefully some of the stuff I went through with Stockfish will sink into my brain. And now this video is way too long. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.